So good afternoon to Keeping It Local podcast, our third episode. And today we're here with Steeven Sevier of Sevier Contracting, who works in the Ottawa area. And we are going to listen to everything that you need to know about hiring a contract today in the city of Ottawa. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining me on this. Looking forward to seeing what you're up to.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just tell us a little bit about what was your motivation to start a business as a general contractor here in Ottawa 4 years ago?
So my first choice was not general contracting. It was just by chance I fell into the industry and I fell in love with it. Just like any millennial in my generation, something with tech was what I wanted to do, something fancy. Didn't work out very well. It was more of I was out of work and I did I did interlock as well as drywall in university, just as the summer job. And I was like, I'll just go back into construction. It was the easiest time to find work. I lost my job, or I quit my job in February. And if you are from Canada, if you quit your job in the winter, it's impossible to find a job for like the next 3 months. Like midwinter, good luck. So I ended up finding a job as with a landscaping company, and then from there I learned and I kept learning with different companies, and then I decided to go on my own.
So you were saying to me earlier that you were an athlete. You played football.
Yes.
And do you find that sort of your football playing at all influence the kind of business that you're building, or how you grow your business? Like, is there a link there at all?
Well, the link that I would say like doesn't influence the type of business that you grow. Is more of it teaches you the discipline. Um, as a student athlete, you will know like you need discipline. You have to be able to get up, go to class, go to meetings, go to workout, go to practice. It teaches you structure and discipline, and you can take those aspects that you learn and implement them into a business, and it works out very well for you. So it works out very well because you already learn that structure when you're young, and then you continue doing it as an adult. It gives you structure.
So how do you get business? How do people find out about you? You started with the zero, like you worked on different projects with other companies and then launched your own. And how did you start getting the word out that you were the guy to go to?
I come with the sales background. I was fortunate enough to do every type of sales you can think of. I did door to door. I did digital sales. Um, I did telemarketing. I did everything you can think of. And prior to owning Severe Contracting, I owned another franchise called Shine Student Services, which was like window cleaning, ducts and stuff. And it was basically you had to go door to door to find business in the local area to ask people to clean their windows or power clean their driveways or whatever the situation may be. And I got a lot of business from that, and I learned from running that industry. I started with zero, and by in the summer I had a staff of six, and we did about like $30,000 or $40,000 in sales for just a summer job that I started in February, and the business was closed by September. So I basically took what I learned from my previous jobs and implemented it into construction. And with this industry, it's very visual, so proof of concept. Um, if you come to me and be like, "Hey, I do construction," I'm gonna ask, "Hey, let me kind of see some of the jobs that you did." If you can't show me proof of concept, then it's very hard to find work.
So door to door, you did that here in the city?
Yes.
So what was like your worst experience doing that?
So my worst experience in door-to-door sales was working for a charity called We Planet Earth, and we were basically going door to door knocking for getting people on monthly prescriptions to like sponsor kids overseas or whatever the situation was. And my worst experience was I think I knocked on like 500 doors and I got 500 no's. That was like a very long day.
Yeah, I bet so. You did 500 in one day?
We did about 500 doors. I felt like 500, but probably was less. It was just
Yeah.
a really long day.
Yeah, because it seems to me in Ottawa, people aren't too, they don't really like to open their door to strangers, or even to, they don't like to open their door, period.
Depends on the weather. I feel like summertime, you guys are more welcoming compared to like the winter.
Okay, yeah. Oh, tornado, frozen air coming to my house. Don't open. Okay, I get it. So what do you have in the works now, from now till like spring? And then what's your next 5 years look like?
So right now in the works of spring, we're basically shifting. We're doing a lot of basements,
Mm-hmm.
but we're shifting towards bathrooms. I really enjoy doing bathroom projects, so we're doing a bit more bathroom projects. In the spring, we're going to continue to grow the team. I do property management as well, too. So right now we have 8 houses under contract, and we're looking to grow the property management branch as well. We do everything from A to Z for the landlords. So we're looking to grow that next year as well. There's and we do a lot of conversions, uh, convert basements into basement apartments. So people who are looking to get that done, we do a lot of those, and right now that's starting to become a big chunk of my business because a lot of people are looking to get that basically second mortgage off their back if they bought at the high point. So they're looking to convert their basement into a basement apartment or convert it to Airbnb to make extra income. So we were doing a lot of those as well. And for the next 5 years, again, as I explained to you off camera, I just want to be able to start a fund and start an investment fund to start buying properties in the States and in Canada to start growing a portfolio and convert them to duplexes, triplexes, and either hold or sell.
Are you going to do it as rental properties or just to bank those properties?
Depends, right? So some properties I'll hold, some
Mm-hmm.
properties I'll sell. Depends on the margins, depends on who's investing in those properties, and depends on how fast they want their money back.
You were talking that through your football experience that you had become a coach, and as you were growing your own business, you actually started mentoring a lot of others to go into entrepreneurship. Um, can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Well, I mean, growing up in so I'm an original American. So growing up in both systems, I did basically some of my adolescence here from like my teenage years, and my youth were mostly in the States. I find that Canadians really push like university or nothing. It's like boom or bust.
Yeah,
It's like it's
it is.
university or nothing.
We're like, it's like a mantra. As soon as you
Yeah,
have kids, it's like you go to university.
it's like, oh, you didn't go to university? Oh, something must be wrong with them. It's like it's boom or bust. And I kind of wish I didn't go to university. Like I will never say um, the experience I had there, the friends I made, the connections I made, the things I learned, um, can never be taken back. But the fact of the matter is, trade school would have been a better option for me for what I'm doing now. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I went there to play football. Went there to learn. I'm not taking the experience away. But if I knew that option was available, I probably would have took the other option, and I will still be able to play football and maybe go to university later on in life if I so chose to.
Do you
Um,
think that that's more like the American focus is entrepreneurship than the Canadian focus? Like
not
Americans seem to all want to go into business. That's a real big generalization, but and here
well,
it's true.
one of
Go
the
to
reasons are,
university.
you know, well, when I was applying for universities, I applied for some in the States and I ended up going to Canada. I was living in the States at the time. Community college, at the time, this is back in 2011, was 20,000 a year.
Here,
USD. Yeah,
20,000
yeah.
as an American. Like, were you seen being seen as an international student?
Nope, I'm a full American citizen.
Yeah,
For
but do you?
full course load, community college in the United States
Oh, in the United States, okay,
was
20,000.
1,000 a year for community
Ridiculous.
college.
Yep.
I didn't pay that for all. I paid 20,000 for 4 years in Canada. So like, you see the difference.
Yeah.
That's community college. It's not even like going to like, University of Miami or Florida State or one of the big Power 5 schools. It was just community college. Local community college is $20,000 for a full course load. So I think the reason Americans realize that education is very expensive, you would have to take out student loans, but there's other options out there, and they're starting to push trades. My younger brother went to welding school.
Okay.
So they're starting to push trades, and it's not a shameful thing if you don't go to university.
Here or in the States?
In the States.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's very shameful. It's like something wrong with him. He didn't make it to university.
That's true. I tried really to leave the whole thing open to my kids, even when they're going in and they were in whatever, middle school or high school. Like there was all this pressure, I think, on grade 9 to decide, do you want to go to university or do you want this? And it's like, of course, nobody wants to do this. They want to, and I'm just, it was like pressure because they don't know what they want to do at that age in grade 9. What do you know? And I'm going, don't listen, just do it. Like, even if you come out and you never did science and you decide you want to do it, you're not dead. So long as you're not dead, you can learn and you can change wherever you go. But there was a lot of pressure from the system that they make a decision at that point. And then when they finished, like they were really smart and they finished school fast. One tripped around the world, and one finished her degree, but then she went to work in the bush. Not related to her degree. And she got a lot of different certifications and training that were more trades related than academic.
Funny story. My girlfriend's good friend, he went to school for golf management, which is like a business degree / golf degree. I don't know how that works. It's basically a business degree to teach you how to manage golf clubs.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's called golf management. Guess what he's at now? Working at the LRT. With the So he's writing construction. He has a full paying union job with full benefits that pays him very well.
Yeah.
And he's loving it. And we had an interesting conversation the other day. And I told him, I was like, did you think you'll be here? He was like, no. No.
Yeah. My youngest now, since through the fall, she decided to do a 4-month exploratory thing. She's in BC called Women in the Trades. Just to see if she wants to do the trades. I never would have imagined, but she's coming out, and she there's a couple of those that were interesting to her. She hasn't made a decision, but it was like wasn't university. She tried university too many times, but it's like, okay, let's see what this is all about. And it's quite possible because you can earn well, you can be independent, you can scale a business, you can do all of these different things that you're not necessarily tied to the 9-to-5 typical job working in a cube farm.
Exactly. So I decided to start mentoring kids because of the fact that university is not your only option. A lot of them have parents who come from immigrant backgrounds, and for them, university or nothing.
Yes.
So me coming from immigrant background, my parents believed that university was the only option. You need to get, but not realizing there's many different ways to educate someone to get them to where they want to be in life. It took them a very long time to allow me to do what I wanted to do. So
they're okay with that now?
Exactly. They have no choice.
True story.
So you have no choice. So I'm trying to get kids to understand that, hey, like at 18, you could be making 90 to 100 to 150,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's not impossible,
from their business, or like that's after they're taking that out of their business, like they're getting paid through the business that much money.
They can their business can be generating them, 90 to 100,000 a year. I seen that happen with window cleaning, where someone was making 50 to 60,000 a year when doing window cleaning. So imagine you go to the next step, which is construction. I know someone who does power washing, and they do very well for themselves. So you can make a lot of money growing trades, because I feel like trades is the only industry that is recession proof and that is consistent. It might slow down, but it'll never stop.
Yeah. And so what do you get out of mentoring, like personally?
All depends, right? So again, I do mentorships for kids who they might just want to ask me a couple questions, but for
Mm-hmm.
me to do the full on, take them under my wing,
Mm-hmm.
I have to charge a fee because it is my time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would teach them to do digital marketing, create a logo, create a register a business, find an accountant, find a good bookkeeper, um, help them put up ads. I'll basically hold their hand throughout the process, and they'll have full access to me, so they'll make the same mistakes I made, right? Hiring, pricing out jobs, hiring, hiring different trades to come in to do the jobs, hiring full-time staff, finding finding reliable and properly licensed trades. Okay, that's one of the hardest things to do. So getting all that done for them, um, and have them 10 years ahead of me. Because if I learned those things, I would have never made all the mistakes I made. And now I'm in a place in my business where I'm no longer making those mistakes. But the fact of the matter is, those mistakes cost me, I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So how, if somebody wants to be mentored by you into how many months of mentoring does it take for you to kind of get them up and growing?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months. That's awesome.
3 months. I can have them up and ready to go in 3 months.
Yeah. And so so that's like you're having multiple businesses, you're growing multiple businesses at the same time as you're creating this. So you're continuing growth in your contracting business. Is that correct?
Correct. And on top of that, it creates new connections, right? So if I have a job I don't want or I can't take, I
Yeah.
one of my mentorees like, hey, this is a good job for you to start with. Here you go. Um, and I can help them price it out. I can show them, basically step by step guide them through it. But it'll be 3 months of getting them going, and then they'll be with me for 6 months. Once they start finding work, I can give them the right people to contact, show them where to get supplies for a reasonable price. Um, we have a joke in the industry: only civilians shop at Home Depot.
Because you got some secret places for people to shop.
We have our places. We have our way.
So I was listening to a podcast, I think from a year ago, like a video conversation that you were on, and you were talking about expanding your business across the province. And what's your plan for doing that?
So I do want to expand across the province, but my plan for doing that would be, looks like a 10-year plan, right? I want to expand
Okay.
in Ottawa, uh, get my piece of the pie, as they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there move on to, I actually really like the Kingston area. That's growing pretty fast. People see it as like a dead college town, but I think it has good potential for a lot of growth,
Mm-hmm.
just because we're centrally located. Um, and I'm expanding within the Ottawa area as well. So I work up in Russell, Embrun, Kempville, all the way up to Onprior, and even Renfrew if the numbers work.
So how many people do you have on your team?
10.
10 people that you employ on a regular basis, 12 months
Yeah.
of the year.
Yes.
And what qualifies somebody who's going to be good enough to be working on your team?
I mean, in the trades, it's very hard. So like you have to qualify them yourself. You have to give them a small job, see how they do, and then from there you give them more responsibilities. But the qualification is just like care. How would you treat your home, right? Don't cut corners and care. My guys, we don't cut corners. Um, don't cut. Yeah, it's just like our model. My model is really, if it's my house, what I want this done. You know, is just the quality that I would want it done at.
And so how do you instill that with your workers?
You have to be over the shoulders sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
You over the shoulders. You have to let them know, like, hey, this may bring you more work. I can't remember who said it. He's an entrepreneur. He said 10 clients can make you a millionaire.
Okay.
So the way
So
he explained it is, it's 10 clients can give you 10 references, and those 10 references can give you 10 more references. 10 clients. All you need is 10 clients to make you a millionaire, due to the fact that if you give them good, reliable work, they'll recommend you to most likely 10 more people. And if you give those 10 people good, reliable work, they'll recommend you to 10 more people. So the way, again, he just said 10 clients can make you a millionaire. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to give them reliable, good work. And from there, you can move forward uh, and, and see if they're willing to reference you to give you more work. And then they're friends like you, then you can get more work from there. So it becomes a ripple effect.
I've heard from a lot of people in the industry and other industries like hospitality that today the outcome of COVID and people being locked in for so long is that there is a lack of reliable people willing to show up to work, like even after day 2 or something like that. Are you seeing the same thing, or do you have some kind of secret that you put in place to keep people long term?
There are That's happening in all industries across the board. Ever since COVID, people are decided to stay home, um, and it's really happening in the trades right now. A lot of baby boomers are retiring, so there's a big gap in the market, which I'm happy to fill.
Mm-hmm.
So my secret to keeping them long term is just treat them like people. In this industry, working in this industry, I remember I worked for a company which I shall not name.
Mm-hmm.
We worked from 6 a.m. to midnight.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 6 a.m. to midnight, and it was 47 degrees. Even the roofers weren't working.
Mm-hmm.
It was humid and it was hot, but the fact of the matter is, I was doing resodding at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and the grass was going to die if we didn't lay it down.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 47 degrees. We worked 6 a.m. to midnight, and that day I realized that my employer didn't care about my well-being or my health.
Mm-hmm.
He cared more about his bottom line.
And you quit?
I quit 2 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
I had to find another job first before I quit. So I quit
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, and I realized that, and I told myself, if I'm gonna be my own boss, I have to be better than this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what, my bottom line should not put people's health. At one point, some guy did pass out, and like they told him, like, "Hey, you can leave, but I'm not dropping you back off. You will have to,
Wow.
right?" Like, thinking about it now, it brings up really bad memories. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I just told myself, I'll just treat people like human beings. If you can't make it until 10, give me a reason why you can't make it until 10.
Mm-hmm.
Job is still going on. Like, we can still get the job done in a reasonable time. If you need time, give me time. Your mental health is a thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
You just treat people like human beings, and they'll be happy to work for you.
And you pay them well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they're going to remain faithful to you. How many months recruiting somebody in do you know that that's a keeper and they know that they want to stay with you?
Sometimes it's a year. Like,
A year.
sometimes it's a year, right? Because like they finish the season with you. Because again, for us, we call it seasons. Our season is from March to November. So they finish the season with you. You continue, you keep them on throughout the winter, and then you continue working. But sometimes it could be 3 months. It could be a year. It depends on how much responsibility that person want to take on, and um, and how long they want to stay. With this industry, you might get a really good worker for 3 weeks, and then he finds a job somewhere else that's willing to pay more. If you're not willing to match that, then you have to let that guy go. If you can't afford to match it, then hey, go to the union, right? Like, if you feel that's for you.
So what is like a highlight big achievement that you've accomplished with your business?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't feel like hitting any highlights. A lot of my friends tell me, like, I closing the year off last year with a quarter million, not quarter, $500,000 in sales. That was a big highlight achievement, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it now, like, you know what? For me, it was getting my first big job. Actually, that was the my first big job, and it wasn't even considered to be big in my standards today. But for me at the time, it was. It was a bathroom rental, installing, putting in a shower and finishing the floors with custom glass. And we did that for about like 15,000. And at the time, I thought it was the biggest job I could ever get. I could do this for the rest of my life. Extremely happy. Over time, we've done much bigger jobs than that, but I think that was one of the biggest highlights of my young career. And then finding consistency, right, constantly growing, was another great achievement.
Okay, and then there's this one last question. Oh, I'm looking for the words, but this essentially is there a question that you wish I would have asked, and how would you answer it?
Not termination, sorry, turmoil, or what was the lowest point in your business?
Okay.
Because a lot of people talk about the good, but let's talk about the real. We're real here, right? Real local businesses. What it takes to be in this industry. It takes a lot of mental fortitude. Like, you have to be mentally strong. You have to be able to take a lot of losses. Last summer, I lost $100,000 in jobs. Crazy. Like,
Why is that?
hiring bad trades, right?
Oh, okay.
You need the mental fortitude to keep going. A lot of people will close up shop after that. You have to fight through it, because you have to see the bigger picture at the end of the tunnel, or see the light at the end of the tunnel. Again, mistakes that I made, I can teach people to avoid. So
what do you, when you were living through that turmoil and you lost that much money and you still went, what grounded you to push through?
to be honest with you, it was more of like boom. Again, I have a boom or bust mentality. It was like, if I give up now, I have XYZ dollars to find a job. I do not want to find a job. So it's either I, fight through this, get through it, or I'm back home living at home, right? And basically, it was just shame. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to move home. They're going to ask me a million and one questions I don't want to answer.
Oh, you mean home like with your parents?
Correct. Right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
closing up shop, you're losing a lot. You have to reload, move back home, find something else to do, or trying to get back into business. As well as I had a lot of open jobs that I had to close off, that I couldn't just not do, right? Even though I was losing money, I had to complete those projects.
Yeah, it's your reputation's on the line.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing us your knowledge and your experience and your stories. And so Severe Contracting, do you want to spell out your website, or if people want to connect with you? I'll put it in a link in the description.
So it's contracting.com. So SEVERE contracting.com. You can reach me at 613-404-9198. If you are looking for mentorship, give me a shout. If you have any questions, you can email me as well at ottawa@severecontracting.com. And if you're looking to invest in me, you can email me too. I'm always looking for the next investor. So,
in your fund for housing?
Yes, if you're looking to invest in me, give me a shout. If you have properties you want to be managed, give me a shout. We do everything for you, from the renovations to renting it out. Everything you need from A to Z to collecting rent. So again, it's Steeven. So severecontracting.com. My email is ottawa@severecontracting, and you can reach me at 613-404-9198.
Perfect. Thanks for meeting with us.